so today we're going to put the shifter in. Basically, the only issue that I foresee with that is that the actual selector rod is made for an M3, and since it's a 1 series shell, we're going to have to fit the shifter in, make sure that everything works and it goes in all the gears. That's going to be the first thing we do today, and then after that we're going to bleed the brakes. So let's get started with the shifter.
Like sports right now.
We bled the clutch off camera, so had to work with the slave cylinder, take it off. We kind of reverse bled it, where we pushed fluid from the bottom up. What I did was I just took an oil can, hooked a hose up to that, filled it with brake fluid, put this on the bleeder screw of the slave cylinder, and then just pumped fluid through the whole system, down from the slave up to the master and up to the reservoir. Put the slave cylinder back in the bell housing, and seems like we have a clutch pedal, but that's what we're going to test now. What we're going to do to test it is we're going to turn the car on, put it in gear, and slowly release the clutch and see if the transmission engages. And if this spins, then we know we're in business. If it doesn't, then we obviously didn't bleed something right and we got to redo it. So that's the plan. Let's see if it works. Like rev for like 5 seconds, then stop revving.
How do you feel right now, post-game interview? It was a hard one.
That was, yeah, you know, it was a tough ball game out there. You know, you just gotta f***ing send it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This time around it worked, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so as you guys can see, we're bleeding the brakes at the moment. We're gonna do this side. We've done a couple of the sides already. We're gonna do this side, and then the last side left will be the driver's side. And at that point, all the brakes should be bled. We did a couple off camera, and we're gonna do this one now. What we're gonna do now is we got a power steering and AC compressor belt, and I believe this is the right length. So what we're gonna do is just put it over, so that way we have a running power steering pump and AC compressor. Then we can get around to filling the power steering reservoir with our steering fluid, and we might as well also seal this up here, put some O-rings in there, and this is the transmission cooler. That way we can then get down and put the transmission fluid in as well. So that's kind of the game plan. Let's get started. So I think the way they route this belt, it's obviously around the crank, over the power steering pump and AC compressor, and then I believe it goes over the tensioner. So for that, you just do a 14 mil. That should be that. because the engine is off an 08 M3, and I think in 2008 they changed the way the belt ran, and I think it became a dual-sided belt. But in this case, it's a single-sided belt, so it goes around the crank, goes under the idler, over the power steering, over the AC, and then over the tensioner and back around the crank. So that's that ran, and now we can get around to putting power steering fluid in and putting tranny fluid. So let's do that next. Both of these need to get an O-ring. Right here, this is an OEM style clamp. These are a one-time use, but they tighten down really well and they look factory. So this one over here is just a regular hose clamp. So we're gonna remove that and replace it with one of these OE style clamps. Put it back in, bolt the bracket in, and then fill it up with power steering fluid. Couple O-rings. We're gonna put them on the transmission lines here, transmission oil cooler lines, and bolt this in. What we're gonna do now is take off the fill port for the transmission first, and then take off the drain port or drain plug, drain whatever tranny fluid there is existing in here, and then we're gonna fill it up with fresh transmission fluid. The reason I always say to do the fill port first, you don't wanna get in a situation where you drain all your fluid and then for some reason this plug doesn't come off, and then you're kind of out of luck because you can't put new fluid in. So always start with the fill port and then the drain. That there is the fill port, so we're just gonna put our socket in there. Well, yeah, we're gonna put our socket in there. And there we go, that's the fill port. And now we gotta do the same with the drain. Might be a little, there might not. Oh yeah. So we'll let that drain for a bit, and then we'll put fresh fluid in. So we're gonna be putting fresh fluid in, and what we're gonna use is just a simple transfer pump. Put one side in, start pumping it, and we'll put the other side in the fill port. And as soon as fluid starts kind of pouring out of the fill port is when you know that the transmission's full. So it's kind of foolproof, you can't really mess it up. It will probably take more than one bottle, that's why we have two of them. And as soon as it starts dripping out, we know we're good, and we'll put the fill plug in. Filming me. Dad, do you think you can help put the diff in? Yeah, there we go. Oh, it needs to be behind this.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not sponsored or anything, but at this point we might as well be. By good old Snap-on. All right, so walk with me. So we just got the diff in. It's not fully tightened down, but it is in place. We still got to put this one axle in, just waiting on it to show up. But the other one's in, just got to bolt those. And now I got to measure the distance from here to the transmission. Once I get the accurate measurement, the shop's gonna make me a custom one-piece drive shaft to connect the two ends. And as soon as that's done, we're ready to start moving.